If Tulane is not in the new top 25 polls, we ride it, okay? We give it all up. Cancel the college football season. If Tulane is not ranked in the top 25, cancel the college football season right now, because everything else is a tragedy. Obviously, the voters don't watch football, and obviously, that means they're not smart at football. Tulane should be in the top 25 or cancel the season. End of discussion. All serious though, Tulane probably shouldn't be ranked top 25. I just think that would be incredible. What they did was incredible. We'll get to them in a minute. Welcome back, everybody, to Interview with Sports. College football is back, and what a great weekend of college football. Upset started Friday. Thursday, we had a great game with Ohio State, Minnesota. Saturday, everything went well. I mean, still a bunch of upsets. That's just insane. So, what I'm going to do for this college football season, or at least try to do, we know how I am with making video schedules, right? I am going to go through top 25 teams, and if your favorite team isn't ranked, tell them to be better. That's all I can say about it. And I'm going to describe every game they had. Some games will go in depth on it, they're important. Other games, it'll be a blowout, and I don't really need to go on in depth about it. So you'll see some examples of that. You'll see some examples of this. Also try and include some memes in there. That would just be too funny, right? Like Tulane. From here on out, I'm cheering for Tulane the rest of the season. I want Tulane to get as many wins as possible. I think that'll be amazing. Anyways, let's kick things off with number 1, Alabama, Roll Tide, versus number 14, Miami. And Bryce Young is the best quarterback in the Nick Saban era he's going to have. Tossed 4 touchdowns, breaking the record for Alabama debut. It's going to be amazing. Receiving core looked amazing as always. Defense shut down D'Eriq King. What more can you ask for from this Alabama team? They're saying this defense is supposed to be elite. This defense is going to be elite, all right? Alabama probably going to go back-to-back. However, Miami should still be ranked 25. They faced number 1 team in a week 1 game. King just couldn't do anything. Miami should still be ranked top 25, but probably just prove right there they can't take that next level and hang with the top teams out there. Maybe this was like a week 4, week 5 where they got stuff going. Maybe this is a better matchup, but Alabama still probably beats them by 2+ touchdowns. Number 2, Oklahoma. Oh, forgot to mention, Alabama has a good kicker. He hit a 51-yarder. No more kick sixes on our watch, finally. Number 2, Oklahoma versus Tulane. What a great game. This was the best game up until the moment. How do you let Tulane get an onside kick? How do you let Tulane, who had a rough week with Hurricane Ida, probably not being able to practice, this game should have been played in Tulane, but they had to move it to Oklahoma because of Hurricane Ida. How do you have them go into Oklahoma, score 35 points, get an onside kick, and you only beat them by 5? A team you should blow out. Alabama faked the 14th ranked team in the nation, and they beat them by 30+. You faced an unranked Tulane. Beat them by 5. Oklahoma overrated. Rattler threw 2 picks. Oklahoma's rushing game looked good. Team by 3+ rushing touchdowns. Tulane! Their quarterback. 296 yards, 3 touchdowns. Defense made Rattler look like he wasn't the projected number 1 overall pick. Oklahoma's defense still Oklahoma's defense. Their offense is great. We knew their offense was going to be good. We knew their offense was going to put up points. Problem is that defense. You see Alabama's defense. They're stopping D'Eriq King. Georgia's defense. We'll get to them in a second. Clemson's defense. Heck, they played really well even though they lost. They just had no offensive help. Oklahoma, they're probably going to make college football playoffs just with all the upsets, right? Like with all these upsets that happen, there's not probably much better teams than Oklahoma. So if they make college football playoffs, they're going to get blown out. They're not going to be able to stop anyone. They may battle back and forth for a little bit. They get up 2 scores. Game's over. Oklahoma's never had a good defense. Tulane probably should be top 20. No, Tulane should not be top 25. Oklahoma had everything right in this game. They couldn't practice because of Hurricane Ida. The game was supposed to be in Tulane. They had it moved back to Oklahoma. You're kidding. You let them score 35 on you, and you didn't score 50 or 60? You didn't beat them by 30+. Your defense is terrible. It always has been terrible. And that's not going to change. You're in the Big 12. When you come to the SEC, maybe go recruit some defensive prospects. That's funny. That's just really funny. I love everything about Tulane. That's just really, really funny. Number 3, Clemson versus number 5, Georgia. Both QBs looked DJ, his last name, and JT Daniels looked meh. In fact, the only touchdown score, final score of 10-3, throwing it way back to the 2000s, right? Or defenses were in control. The only touchdown scored in this game was a pick 6 by DJ. I will learn how to pronounce his last name. DJ. Threw a pick 6 to that Georgia defense. That Georgia defense is going to be very special this year. I have high hopes for this Georgia defense. If Georgia's offense can get together, they may finally have a chance to compete with Alabama. Now, to DJ, right, to Clemson, they are missing so much. Amari Rodgers, Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence. You don't just, you're going to miss a couple beats, right? You're not just going to replace all those stars, right? Your defense looked really good. You need to get that offense going quick, Dabo. You got a cupcake schedule for the rest of the year. ACC isn't that good. You're fine. You're going to be okay. Once you get your offense moving, got to stop knocking over the football because it just messed up the scoring. You'll be fine. Fix your offense. You got it. Georgia, you fix your offense. You can honestly win You can honestly win college football playoff this year. Your defense looked that good in week 1. Whether that was just Clemson's offense is bad or your defense is elite. I'll probably choose a little bit of both. I truly do think Georgia, it could be special this year. I honestly believe they could be special this year. Alabama versus Georgia in the SEC Championship is going to be a very, 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 very fun game to watch. Number 4, Ohio State versus Minnesota. Let me just say this. Minnesota's 2020 was just 2020, right? Everything bad happened to them. I think they're a much better team than what they are. Nonetheless, said CJ Stroud made his debut, and what he did was pretty good. He had to go on the road to Minnesota, first-time fans back. It was rainy, and he threw a pick. Didn't really make the throws at first. But let me tell you, this kid really settled in and then threw for 4 touchdowns, leading Ohio State to the victory. And yeah, that was really good. But what scares me is that Ohio State run defense, or maybe it's just Muhammad Ibrahim looked really good. When he got hurt, that entire game changed for Minnesota. But when he got hurt, Minnesota went down. But if he doesn't get hurt, Minnesota could possibly win this game. He looked really, really good out there, just running all over that Ohio State defense. He doesn't get hurt. Maybe we got a different outcome of the game. Either way, a bunch of big plays happened. A big old scoop and score from Ohio State. Either way, I think Minnesota looked okay. I think they're going to do fine this year. Make a bowl game. Maybe 9-10 wins for them. Just ran to Ohio State. Couldn't get the job done. But I know how huge of an upset that would have been to kick off upset weekend. We'll get some updates here in a second. Number 6, Texas A&M versus Kent State. Here's something. Texas A&M blew out Kent State. Haynes King looked good. Placing Kellen Mond. So yeah, see, when that happened, I don't need to spend my time going into in-depth detail, right? Texas A&M blew out Kent State. What more expect? Iowa State versus Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa came to play. Northern Iowa almost upset Iowa State. Brock Purdy looked okay. But holy crap, another top 10 upset. What an amazing thing that would have been. Northern Iowa almost upsets Iowa State. Defense held just enough. They held on just enough to barely edge out Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa! But Iowa State didn't get upset. They're going to need much better performances from Brock Purdy like that if they want to have hope of staying in the conversation of college football playoffs, especially if it's upset year like we had in 2007. They're going to need a much better performance from Brock Purdy. Number 8, Cincinnati versus Miami, Ohio. Cincinnati proved they should at least be in the conversation for the college football playoff. I think they should have probably made it last year, but we won't talk about last year. I'm done with last year. But they did not miss a beat. Desmond Ridder, amazing. 295 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. Looks really good. Cincinnati, if they can keep winning like this and teams keep getting upset, Cincinnati should make the college football playoff. This should be their year to finally make the college football playoffs. They looked really good. I mean, it's Miami, Ohio, so you can't really, hold it to that much. It's not like they faced number 14 Miami and blew them out. Roll Tide. But they still prove they should at least be in the conversation for the college football playoff. College football overtime is the best overtime, and the NFL should absolutely add it. It's so much fun. Notre Dame versus Florida State looked exactly that. Florida State scoring 18 unanswered points in the fourth. Score to force overtime. Jordan Travis threw 3 picks. Then Mackenzie Milton, who almost lost his leg and probably never playing again, came back out. And what a movie that would have been. Only if the kicker didn't miss it, right? Florida State's fans probably just went, don't kill yourself. It's not worth it. Talk so much, actually. But Notre Dame coach survived. Let's see what Brian Kelly thinks about his team. Coach, what do you think should happen to your team after a pretty good win, electric win to start off week 1? Oh, well. We're going to move on then. Number 10, North Carolina versus Virginia Tech. Top 10 upset alert. Top 10 upset alert. One of the first upsets. What a game. Again, another defensive battle. I've noticed a trend here. Defensive battles. Sam Howell, let's talk about it, right? Projected one of the top QBs in the draft. He could be awesome, right? He could be really good. However, what he did kind of wasn't his fault. His offensive line sold, had 2 seconds to throw the ball. One of the interceptions he threw should have been a catch, but the receiver just kind of lost it somehow. Some way he lost it. And then Virginia Tech defense looked really solid to shut down Sam Howell. So let's not take too much away from Virginia Tech. Just say his offensive line sold, questionable play calling at best. And then just everything that went bad for Sam Howell this game. There's a bunch of other breakdowns on it. They'll probably explain it a lot better than I would. Definitely suggest you go check those out for a more in-depth detail of Sam Howell. But, man, North Carolina's got to get much. I mean, to be fair, they lost Javonte Williams and Michael Carter. Those were electric run games. You're not just going to recreate those run games. And Virginia Tech's defense looked amazing. Home field advantage plays such a key part in college football. We forgot all about that in 2020 when there was no fans in the crowd. But Virginia Tech's defense looked really, really good. They shut down one of the top projected quarterbacks to go in this draft class. Virginia Tech versus Tulane. Make it a bowl game. I'm not saying that should happen, but come on. Almost upset Spencer Rattler. These guys actually did upset. I don't know. I think that'd be pretty fun. But really, not much of this was Sam Howell's fault. You can't put the loss entirely on him, even though he did throw some interceptions. But, I mean, he made smart decisions. Some of the throws were good throws. The defense just outplayed North Carolina. Number 11 versus Fresno State. Another really fun game to watch. Almost another upset. 31-24. Oregon takes the win. Fresno State is probably better than we give them credit for. But Oregon still is pretty good. They were ranked just outside the top 10. Maybe they looking too much for Ohio State. But Oregon's probably better than this, and I think Fresno State's also probably better than them being unranked. And they proved it here by almost upsetting number 31 Oregon. So wouldn't that have been something? Another upset. Trust me, there's plenty of upsets we talk about later down the road. My favorite game of the weekend, number 12 Wisconsin versus number 19 Penn State. What an amazing defensive battle. We had to see the jump around back in Wisconsin. One of the best college football traditions in college football. But bad thing is the crowd paid to watch two really poor quarterback plays in Sean Clifford and Graham Mertz because, of course, right? Really, really, really poor QB play. And Ches Malassi, 31 carries, 121 yards, and a touchdown. Wisconsin should have ran it to him more. They really should. Both defenses came to play. Penn upstates Wisconsin in Wisconsin. Graham Mertz plays a little bit better, just even a slight touch better. Something happens. 2 key blocked field goals from inside the 25 was kind of important. Penalties fumbles. Wisconsin fumbled in the red zone. I mean, just so many key mistakes could have changed the outcome of the game. Oh, and they could have won it. It's 4th and goal. They're in the red zone. What does Graham Mertz do? Throw an interception. That's right. He throws an interception because he's not good. If that's what he is, that's not a good quarterback. I'm not saying I'm going to do much better, but we would probably have about the same performance, and I'm 16, and I record videos talking about sports. Because I don't play them. But I would probably look as bad as Graham Mertz did, and that's understandable since I'm playing against like 19 to 20-year-olds. And he's bad. Sean Clifford wasn't even that good either. He just made better throws when it counted. Missed a long touchdown. He did. Like, that guy beat him. And he had the touchdown. He hit it again, thankfully. They got their touchdown. Penn State wins and upsets Wisconsin. Number 13, Florida versus Florida Atlantic. Kyle Trask era is over. And Florida, blowout win. N'Keal Perry takes over and leads Florida to a blowout win. That's literally what the note said. So that's easy. 15, USC versus San Jose State, and USC blows out San Jose State. Number 16, LSU versus UCLA. Man, them sissy blue shirts won. If you know, you know. And I'm going to leave it at that. Oh, Dorian Thompson-Robinson looks like he could possibly be the real deal. Looked really, really good against LSU. And them sissy blue shirts somehow put away. If you know, you know. Indiana versus Iowa. You would think I would have a more in-depth detail for number 17 versus number 18 ranked in the country. Like, this could prove huge Big Ten spots even. And Iowa just blew out Indiana. Go Hawks. Hawkeyes blew them out. That's all there is to say because it was a blowout win. 2 pick sixes. Two pick sixes. Michael Penix Jr. threw 3 picks. He gave Iowa 14 points. Him. Iowa blew him out. This could be a huge Big Ten game. Run Big Ten game. Week 1 opener. It's the Big Ten. And then Iowa just made it not a fun game to watch after the halftime. So, there you go. Riley Moss is going to live in Michael Penix Jr.'s head for a long time. 20 Washington versus Montana. You guys ready for this? Who do you think? Montana, right? Montana, not even ranked. Half of you watching this didn't even know they had a college football team. And it's Washington. They're ranked 20. They're in the Pac-12. They should have a huge... No! Montana wins 13-7. They scored 10 points in the 4th quarter. It was 7-3 that entire game. You're thinking, okay, Washington's probably going to pull away at some point. Just get a little slow. It's week 1. We can understand. They never picked right back up where they left off after scoring that touchdown in the 1st quarter. Dylan Morris threw 3 picks in the low-scoring affair versus Montana. I love upsets in college football. They're my favorite thing. I love watching a random school like Western Michigan Tech University beat Auburn. Little schools like that beating big schools is so fun. I mean, Pac-12L, another one. How do you let Montana beat you when you're ranked 20th in the nation? Montana versus Tulane. Book it. Just make that a bowl game. I'll watch. Here we go. 21 Texas versus 23 Raging Cajuns. Amazing name. Steve Sarkisian era begins. Why were the Raging Cajuns ranked 23 in the nation to start off the year instead of Ole Miss or Auburn? I can't answer that, but this probably proved why they shouldn't be ranked 23 as dominant 38-18 win. Card threw 224 yards, 2 touchdowns. Team combined for 117 rushing yards. Steve Sarkisian is the head coach of Texas football. They're coming to the SEC. Nick Saban never loses to his former assistant coaches. That streak, it hasn't been broken. It hasn't been broken. If Texas and Alabama play, it probably still won't be broken. But it's a good start for number 21 Texas to beat the Raging Cajun. And then 24 Utah versus Weber State. Utah blew out. 25 Arizona State versus Southern Utah. Arizona State blew them out. Now, at this point, we've gone through top 25 teams. We've seen the wins. We've seen the losses. We've talked about it. We've broken them down. who are my top 6 teams? I'm not going to give my full top 25 list. I'm just going to give my top 6, right? 4 playoff teams, 5 and 6. Number 1 is going to stay Alabama. You blow out number 14 in the nation. You look that dominant. You're going to stay number 1 for a while. 2 is Georgia. They get their offense clicking. They're going to be really, really good. Trust me, they're going to be really, really good. A defense looked electric, shut down Clemson. Number 3, Ohio State. I would have put Ohio State at 2. But I just think Georgia's defense was that dominant against Clemson. I think they just deserve to be number 2 off that defensive performance alone. Next week, if their defense still plays like that and their offense doesn't get clicking, maybe I flip-flop. But until then, Georgia's going to stay 2 because that's a huge win for that program. Number 3 is Ohio State. They beat Minnesota in a very entertaining game to watch, and they should be in the college football playoffs this year. I think C.J. Stroud will find his footing throughout the year as he gets on. Remember, he's still a young quarterback. A true redshirt freshman or sophomore. I don't know. Either way, it's like he hadn't thrown a pass before. He beats it out. He looked shaky at first, like anybody would, but he'll find his footing throughout the program. Ohio State at 3. And then this was where I struggled. Should I put Oklahoma at 4? Should I put Clemson at 4? Should I put Cincinnati at 4? Texas A&M? Or maybe an outside shot at Florida? I ultimately went with Clemson because I feel like right now Clemson would beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma would put up points. But that Clemson defense looked very, very dominant against JT Daniels. I want to see how they face more. Look, I have a rule. You let Tulane come in at home and you let them score 35 points and you almost lose by a yard if the quarterback stretched out like that. Who knows, maybe Tulane win. You don't. You're not in the college football playoffs. Now, probably throughout the year, you'll probably get some more dominant wins. My opinion will change. Until then, Clemson's 4. I think Clemson's more of a playoff team than Oklahoma because at least they can play a little bit of defense. Oklahoma, you can. And then number 6 is Cincinnati. With that win, I think they should be in the conversation. I think they should be ranked higher. Notre Dame, if they blew out Florida State, maybe they get a shot. If Florida could possibly get a shot. Oregon, if they beat Ohio State in Ohio State, they'll probably take a huge jump. But these are my top 6 teams. Georgia and Ohio State could flip-flop. Oklahoma and Clemson could flip-flop, and I'd be fine with it. I think Cincinnati is a perfect fit at number 6. I think that's just where they should be for right now. Now, like Oklahoma loses or Ohio State loses, Cincinnati keeps winning, probably should be Cincinnati. I don't know why they didn't get enough love last year, but they should have. But those are my top 6. The only reason why I think Clemson would beat Oklahoma right now, I really do. I think that offense will come together. Especially in that Oklahoma defense, that ain't Georgia defense. That Georgia defense is really good. It has potential to be special this year. I think Clemson's offense get going against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's put up points. That Clemson defense also looked really good. So I don't know. I would just take Clemson. So my college football playoffs would be Clemson, Bama, not in the national championship, and Ohio State, Georgia. Those would be really fun. Oklahoma and Cincinnati would be really fun. You know, Cincinnati obviously lost to Georgia last year in a bowl game. But that is everything. Current upload schedule. I'm going to say this. This one I'm going to try. We know how I am, though. I probably will forget, or maybe I'll get caught up in schoolwork because this isn't just my full-time job, even though I would like it to be. Here's how it's going to go. Tuesday, top 10 NFL teams. That's what I'm going to try. Monday, what we just did. College football, all of that. Give my top 6. Seeing how it progresses throughout the year. I think that's going to be really fun. So that's Monday. Tuesday, top 10 NFL teams. Wednesday, predictions for the NFL week. I'll have a video on that. It'll probably come out Thursday, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see. And then we'll have Friday and Saturday to talk about any other sports news. But until then, those are the 3 things that I want to get done. Obviously, there's going to be other things that come in, like if a huge trade happens, may have to take a place of a video one day, or if another thing happens, we know how sports world is, we know how life is, so just please, but that is what I want to try and do. Obviously, there's baseball playoffs that are going to come into effect, then there's going to be the MLB offseason, the NBA offseason, because every, January, February, I get really into the NBA for some reason, and then, of course, NFL moves happen throughout the year. Huge roster change we're going to have to talk about. A lot is going to happen, but I'm just going to try. Monday, college football. Tuesday, top 10 teams. Wednesday, predictions. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday, a video on Sunday. Maybe I push out a video on Sunday to talk about whatever else. So that is what I'm going to try to do for this football season. I am really, really excited for this football season. We're coming up on 1 year anniversary. I started making videos, just watching my old videos to now. Huge improvement. Gained a lot of subscribers. Had a lot of success. Can't wait to have more. I'm just hoping this football season really takes off. I'm so ready for it. NFL record predictions out tomorrow. Football is officially back. College football is back. And I love it. I can't wait. It's getting to be hoodie wet season 2. It's amazing. Alabama at 1, Georgia at 2, Ohio State at 3, Clemson 4, Oklahoma 5, Cincinnati 6. And thank you for listening.